Thank you for joining me today for Connect University on profiles and field level security. Hands-on Connect Cloud Solutions is excited to be able to provide any and all of the digital solutions you need, whether it is our flagship volunteer management product, Hands-on Connect, additional insights and training with the other Connect University sessions, learning about additional tools through our Connect Exchange series, Salesforce implementation and configuration, custom-built applications, or our stellar support, including virtual administration, we've got you covered. I want to make sure to share with you that I'm also recording today's training for future viewing. Let's see here. We have a great team here at Hands-on Connect Cloud Solutions, and we want to help you succeed in your goals. Our team consists of Art, Domingo, Alfredo, Larry, Esteban, Melissa, Jenny, Louis, who is not yet pictured, and myself. My name is Libby Z. Emilis, and I'm looking forward to spending some time discussing profiles and field level security with you. Since this is a 20-minute presentation, hopefully I'll be able to give you some guidance in reviewing, updating, and managing security for your team in Salesforce. According to Salesforce and Trailhead, Salesforce makes it easy to assign different data sets to different sets of users to balance security and convenience, minimizing the risk of stolen or misused data while making sure all users can easily access the data that they need. But really, what does this mean? This means that you, as an administrator, are the master of your Salesforce instance. With great power comes great responsibility. You have the ability to adjust who sees what down to the actual fields on each record. You might decide to group users by department or function. And the one thing that I want to recommend to follow as a best practice before we even get started is to not have all of your users in your system serve as system administrators. If you've attended any of my previous trainings, you'll know that one thing I will always emphasize is planning. You know what it is that you want to accomplish before making any changes. Take time to talk with the necessary people in your organization to know who needs to do and see what within your Salesforce instance. Secondly, document or set up an audit trail in your system. As you go along making changes and adjustments, whether they're big or small, if at some point you need to revert back, it's good to know what all you've done in the system. When looking at reviewing security for your users, I also want to emphasize the difference between profiles and roles. So roles are used to control access to records. For example, when users view records for my organizations or my contacts, or use filters based on my teams, roles take into account the hierarchy of people within your organization. For example, a sales director might have a role higher in the hierarchy than a sales manager or a sales representative. The sales rep needs to see only their sale records and not those of the sales reps at the same level in the hierarchy. Managers need to see all the sales below them, and the sales director needs to see all of the sales for the entire sales team. So how profiles differ is that all of these sales team members may have the same profile. Profiles determine record privileges and states what a user can and cannot do with a record. All users in your Salesforce instance are going to have a profile. When we take a look at a profile, you'll see a profile is a collection of settings and permissions that determine what a user can do and see and access in Salesforce. More than just object settings, profiles control permissions that are related to apps, Apex classes, authentication access, access to your Visual Force pages, as well as system-wide security settings to limit or grant access to the system and policies, and even policies regarding passwords. So there is a lot of information here, and luckily Salesforce gives you a good base of profiles to get you started, and that should cover most of the general needs of your organization's users. So when you start out, there are 6 standard profiles that come with a Salesforce system. You may and probably do have more profiles in your system, just depending on your Salesforce edition, or if you have installed additional applications that have custom profiles. So it's good to know what each grants access to before you assign your users to them. In a system that I'm going to show you in a minute or so, you'll see that we have over 25 profiles, and we're going to create another one. The basis of data security is of a record within Salesforce is broken down at the most basic level to your users with these 4 concepts. When making a data management plan, you need to decide who is able to read, create, edit, and delete or manipulate that data. One example where you might want to limit access is where you have a staff who's responsible for working with volunteer data, but not donations. You might decide that that volunteer responsible staff may have access to read donations or data roll-ups from those donations, but cannot create, edit, or delete donations or opportunities, depending on your system. There are several ways to manage this, but today our focus is going to be on profiles and field-level security. Field-level security allows you to grant access to a particular field on an object with the permission to either read or edit. Without either of these permissions, a user cannot see the field on any given record for that specific object. So the next thing that we're going to do is make a profile. We're going to use the example of someone who needs to have access to volunteer information, like connections and volunteer opportunities, but not all of the information regarding donations, like I talked about a little bit ago. I want my user to see that they've given and the date of their last gift, but not any of that amount information. The system that we're looking at right now, this has the Nonprofit Success Pack installed, as well as Hands-on Connect for that volunteer management piece. So what I'm going to do first is log in as this user here. Now this person has a staff profile, and when I look at a contact, I'm able to see a lot of information. So I see this section of awesomeness from a different training. We've got address information. We have demographic information, all of the volunteer information. And then as we go down here, we can also see all of this donor information. So we've got a lot. So information on gifts, totals, household gifts, soft credits, and even memberships. I am not interested in having this person be able to see all of that. I can also see all of the donations, the actual donations, and I can go to the list and see all of them. I don't want this person to see that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to create a profile that's based off of this current one that we have, and edit it so this person no longer has access to that opportunity information. So let's go back to the profiles. So that profile that that user had was the staff one. So we're in setup and we're in profiles. And as I mentioned before, we have over 25 profiles in the system. Some are custom and some are standard to Salesforce. Salesforce standard profiles cannot be deleted or edited, but they can be cloned and modified. The one that we're going to use for this example is the staff profile, because I already know it has the appropriate access to the volunteer data and I want to be able to restrict it from there. So we're going to clone this staff profile. Oh, and I'm still logged in as that user, so that's not going to help me. So let me go back to profiles and let's try that again. So now we're going to clone this one and we're going to give it a name, and we want it to be descriptive. So this is going to be staff with restricted donations. And I'll save this. Okay, so now we can go through and start making changes. I like to start at the top and work my way down, depending on what kind of restrictions I need to have. So the first thing that I'm going to start with is this assigned apps. I'm not interested in this person having access to like the nonprofit starter pack or any of the click and pledge stuff. So we'll edit this. And these are the apps up here. So when someone clicks down, all of the apps that are available to them, that dictates what these tabs are. So the only one that I actually want them to have access to is the Hands-on Connect one. So I'm going to unclick these and I'll save this. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm going to go back to this profile overview. I'm going to click on Object Settings because that's the next thing that I'm interested in reviewing. So this is a list of all the objects in the system overall permissions, how many fields, your tab settings, and what layouts are available. We can see that there are a lot of objects in here, and already there's a bunch that don't have access. But the one that we're interested in editing first is the opportunity. So I'm gonna go down to opportunities here. Okay, so I'm gonna edit this straight off. The first thing I'm gonna change is this tab setting. I want this to be to hidden. And then, let's see. So hidden means that the users can't even access the tab from the Customize My Tabs page. It's not even available to them. Okay, so we are going to remove any permissions to this object. I'm going to uncheck that, and now I'm going to go ahead and save this. I could adjust that field level security here as well, but since I'm going to restrict that information somewhere else, because I want to be able to restrict the rollups, and so that's going to be on the contact object. So the next thing I want to do is adjust the settings on the contact object. Lots of C's. Contacts. Okay. Okay, so this is where we're going to get down to the field level security. I want to be able to remove access to all of the fields that are related to donations. Now, there's a lot of them, so bear with me as I go through and uncheck them. There's actually a lot more, but we'll get through this. Okay, so we don't want to see all of these gift informations here. We don't care about the average gift. I'm going to just try and get as many of these. We're going to get, we don't want largest gifts, but I want to know the last gift date because I want to know when this person has given last, and I want to know how many total gifts that they've given as well. So I'm just going to go through and take out most of these, number of memberships, number of soft credits, and let's see here. I think I left the number of gifts. Gifts. Okay, so we want some totals. We'll take out the soft credit information, smallest gift. I know I'm probably missing some of these, so bear with me. Total gifts. None of these totals. I do want to keep the total number of gifts. Okay. Hopefully I got all of those, but we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so now that we have this profile updated with the restricted access from the opportunity object and removed the field permissions for the rollups on that contact record, I'm going to go ahead and grant this to my to this user here. So we'll edit, and we're going to change the profile to staff with restricted donations and save. Now we're going to log in and see how it looks. Okay, so here we're logged in now. So let's take a look first at that contact record that we looked at previously. So we don't have donations as an option up here as a related object anymore. We do have recurring donations because that's a separate object and we didn't do that limits or those restrictions. But when we scroll down here, we can see donation totals. So we can see the first gift date, the last gift date. We can see that there's 6 donations. None of the rest of those, I got most of those fields. I'm pretty surprised. But we got most of these. So we can see that, okay, they can see this first credit soft amount date. So we might go back through and clean that up a little bit more. Now let's just confirm if we are up here. They can't change because there's only one application, so I can't switch to a different app. So these are the standard tabs that I have available. Now let's say if I try to find opportunities, these are volunteer opportunities, more volunteer opportunities. We don't have donations. We have recurring donations and recurring donation settings. So these are separate objects. But now this is a base to go for this profile. I can continue to make adjustments and tweaking and making settings to this profile and make additional changes down to that field level security to make sure my users have the access to the data that they need to access. So as we look at making these profiles, you can evaluate your data and see how it fits. Profiles give us a great control over a lot of information. So that was a really quick way to work through and make a profile, but hopefully that gave you a little bit more information about how to create a custom profile and then lock down some of those fields and see that it's quick and easy to be able to remove access to those fields for your users. Let's see here. So if you're interested in learning more, Trailhead has a great, or Salesforce Trailhead has a really great trail that's specific to data security. If there's something specific that you'd like to see in a future university, feel free to reach out to me or my team, and we can also help with that as well. I really want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this will help you thinking about getting started thinking about profiles and how they can help protect your data. Be sure to join Hands-on Connect Cloud Solutions next week for our weekly demo. Because of the holiday, we'll be taking a week off from university, but we'll be back again the week of the 18th with a Connect Exchange with Map Anything and another Connect University where I'm going to take some time to discuss some further data security, and we're going to talk about sharing rules. If you're interested in sharing this training with your teammates, or if you want to take a look at past trainings, be sure to check out our website at handsonconnect.org/past webinars. I want to thank you all again so much for joining me, and I really want you to have a wonderful and great day.